Weiss, he never hung up on me. Never. Never. And I never hung up on him. In 1978, I stepped into Wayne's world. And I've never been the same. Never been the same. At the young age of 20 years old, Wayne said to me, when I stood at the back door of that house, "Brewster, come into this house." He and Marge, his daughters, Judy and Jana, opened their humble abode at 278 Hillendale. And I was welcomed into his home anytime, day or night. Yes, he loved Polly's pickled beets. But folks, as he put a beet in his mouth, he would take some Catalina or Ranch and then go, "Goodness, Brewster, that is good." And I can't do it because it will make you and me both sick. Horseradish. "Goodness, Brewster, that is good." Then, mayonnaise. But he outlived Marge. I could ask Wayne and Marge. I could go to their house anytime, day or night. Just recently, they locked the back door, but in my 37 years, I would always go to the back door, no key. When I first started at Southland, I just noticed by entering Wayne and Marge's bedroom, and I just went in the bedroom to he was showing me the house the first week I was there, because you hung out with him day and night. Not that I slept there, but you hung out with him. And I said, "Marge, Wayne, why do you got twin beds?" I'm like, I thought, I'm my father, mother, king-size bed with 6 kids. You know what I mean? But Marge, Wayne, why do you have twin beds? "Brewster," Marge would say, "have you ever slept with an elephant?" And I promise you, I'm not making one thing up. A merry heart does the soul good like a medicine. And then another version he showed me, a laughing heart does the soul good like a medicine. And then he just taught me, we're going to weep with those who are weeping. We're going to laugh with those who are laughing or rejoicing. One supper time, we were all eating together at Blue Boar, and my roommate, Jeff Hargis, a.k.a. Jesus, had just purchased a waterbed in the 80s. And by the way, Jeff and Marge often would watch Dallas every Friday night at Marge's house in the living room, and while Wayne was gone away out of town. But Jeff and Marge would watch Dallas together. And Wayne would go, "Well, I think it's a Dallas affair. That's what it is." And he did say one time, "Brewster, if I could just be accused one time of having an affair, I'd be so proud of myself." But I offered Wayne and Marge to go over on Palumbo, drive to the waterbed warehouse on New Circle Road, and let me, because of his generosity, he helped me with my first down payment, let me buy he and Marge a waterbed. "Oh, Brewster," Wayne said, "Now, Brewster, if we get a waterbed, I'm afraid we'll drift apart." And the one my father loved is what he said next. "I'm afraid if we get a waterbed, it might be the Dead Sea." In that same bedroom, and I know this is terrible, you're thinking, well, did y'all just hang out in the bedroom? But it looks like in that same bedroom, the summer of '81, Mr. Russell, summer of '81, the man who stepped in your position at Southeast, Dave Stone, was my summer intern. We snuck to Wayne and Marge's bedroom. Over our jeans, we put on Wayne's tidy whities. I said, Dave, take your shirt off, I'll take mine off. We grabbed that Bible, and we snuck into the closet. Marge and Wayne came in. We waited there about 45 minutes until they started getting ready to go to their separate beds. And we jumped out. To be honest, it backfired on me and Dave Stone, because Wayne, in the last 30 years, loved telling people about when Brewster McLeod and Dave Stone came out of the closet in his underwear carrying the Word of God. That same house at 278 Hillendale, very simple kitchen. During the holidays, I would go straight I-75 to be with my mom and dad, and he supported me there and wanted me there. And I would celebrate with his family when I got back, exchange gifts. A great gift giver. Marge, a terrible gift giver. My mother would send fruitcake, chocolate turtles, and brownie. Marge would do the same thing every year. Wayne, you don't need that. Two other men would also do that to Wayne. Lynn Aldridge would say, Wayne, you don't need that. You're putting on weight. Another man, Wayne's best friend, would call Wayne a fat blah, 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 and he'd push the dessert out of the way. That was Jack Ballard, my minister, his best friend. And folks, those three people who moved the dessert out of his way, they looked nice, fit and trim, laying in their caskets. Oh, they beat Wayne home, but probably just 8 days ago, he had a cream-filled donut from Donut Days, which is so interesting. About 5 years ago, Marge started to decline in health, and Wayne called me, and I was coming back from the Southeast Christian Church Retreat Center with our staff. He got a hold of me, and I was going to stop with other staff, but I decided to go straight back. Brewster, can you come over to help me lift Marge up in the bed? He said, Beth Mays tried to do it the night before, but it was just really difficult. Can you be over? I said, I'm over there. I got in there, walked into the bedroom. At this time, Marge now had her own queen bed, and Wayne had his own queen bed in separate rooms, but at least they graduated a little bit. Marge, what can we do for you? Wayne, help Brewster, help me. I need some orange juice. Brewster, go get me orange juice. When you get orange juice, brought it back. Wayne, I need a straw. Brewster, go get a straw. I said, where are they? Marge, where are they? We don't have any. So I went to my truck, got the Wendy's straw, cut it in half, and gave it to her. And then true story, he started undressing her to go to bed. I tried to push Marge over, got too close to Fluff, the dog, snapped at me, and we got Marge in. Wayne's undressing her, and Wayne, Brewster's in here. Oh no, Brewster, just step out in the hallway. I'm going to leave the door cracked just in case I need you to come back in. I saw that shirt go thrown over the chair. Then I heard Wayne go, Marge, I can't get it unsnapped. Then I saw that piece of material go over and then Marge said, Wayne, don't look. Oh my gosh. He heard me go, Wayne, don't look. And then when he came out, Brewster, shut up. I know what you're laughing about. I know, I'm dying inside. I said, Wayne, she said don't look. Was she talking to me? I wasn't in there. No, she was talking to me not to look at her. I said, but you got Judy and Jana. He went, Brewster, I got Marge drunk twice. You know what? I'll probably end up at Eastern State Hospital because of that. Then in the early 80s, my mother and father, they said to Wayne Smith and Jack Ballard, you come into our house. My father thought I struck gold when I was hired by the Southland Christian Church. Two short thoughts about that house where Wayne and Marge and Jana and Judy came and visited and family. Blake, how big was that fish that you caught? My dad said it was 8.5-pound bass, and it was a great fish to bring. Well, what did it feel like, Wayne said, to bring it in? He said, Wayne, it was better than sleeping with Brewster's mother. And Wayne knew at that time, my dad was a good fisherman. He loved fishermen. But he knew at that time that he had a friend in Blake McLeod. And then my mother, he loved my mother. It was interesting that Wayne Smith loved the plumber and his wife, just common people. He just loved my parents, and my mother loved him. And during the time of Marge's sickness, my mother was still alive, but I said, hey, Wayne, just in case, if Marge were to go first, would you consider maybe marrying my mother? Now, my mother also enjoyed eating and also was about Wayne's size. And he said, first off, Brewster, I'm going to tell you something. I'm honored that you would even want me to be your father. I said, well, you're already my father. After my dad died in '89, you really took on that role. But Brewster, I'd be honored to, but that would be a bed full. Then my home away from home with Wayne and staff at 371 Hillendale. I saw that balance of laughter and tears. I saw the balance of funerals and weddings. Weep with those who are weeping, laugh with those who are laughing, rejoice. I was hired on a winter night in January of 1979. Now, Brewster, if you do too much laughing, you'll go to the funny farm. He's what Wayne would say. If you do too much crying, well, you'll go to the funny farm. Now, Brewster, if you and I end up at the funny farm, here's what we'll do. We'll start the Eastern State Christian Church. Then in August of 1981, we all moved out here on this property, 5001 Harrodsburg Road. 4 years into that, Wayne had a car wreck, 85. St. Joe Hospital, I was doing a wedding rehearsal, immediately went over there afterward. I didn't know if he was going to live or die. Everyone had gone home and he was in intensive care. Gently, just to pray over him, if he was not awake, I just said, Wayne, oh, Brewster, what are you doing here? I said, I just want to make sure, Brewster, I'm going to be okay. I said, what do you mean? He went, my humor's still here. What do you mean? Well, Brewster, when I came in here, they had to cut off my khaki pants. And in his mind and heart, he said, Brewster, Marge just told me this morning, Wayne, throw those khaki pants away. And then he said, Brewster, goodness, some of those nurses have touched me, places that Marge never even thought about touching. And then, y'all, I must tell you, my father almost died of a heart attack when he heard his final thing. I said, Wayne, are you going to be okay? I'm going to be okay, but I hate catheters. Just hate them. He said, the nurse came in a while ago, and she's from Southland. Goodness, I was embarrassed. She lifted the sheet up, looked down at my catheter, and she said, Brother Smith, I don't like the looks of that. And he said, Brewster, I turned over, opened my eye, and he said, ma'am, I've never been too pleased with it myself. True. True. And Wayne would say, now anybody who is a little offended, he would say, you know what? You walk with Brewster and Bruce, and Wally and John and Mike. You just walk with us a day, a week, a month, and a year. And with the heartache, it's just gotta be a balance. Well, so we grew. He retired. After retirement, I would tell him that it was a compliment, because you all, not every minister that retires does the church double, triple, quadruple. It says nothing against Wayne. It spoke so many volumes about Wayne. So much. It was the greatest compliment. Even I told him, I said, Wayne, it was a compliment for youth ministry, for me, Brewster to Hatfield, and they doubled. That's a compliment, and I received it as a compliment. The laughter continued, the tears continued. I received a lot of Wayne's funerals and weddings and hospital calls, and I received them because that's the Lord's will. Well, about a year ago, and I'm wrapping it up, Todd and I took dinner to Wayne. And he was so happy when we came in, he said, "Oh, fellas, the tombstone came in." "What do you mean, Wayne?" "I mean, it came in the mail." And I said, "Wayne, did you order Marge a tombstone by mail from the Harriet magazine?" "No, Brewster, Fluff, the dog." And then I said, "Did you order Fluff's tombstone first before Marge?" And Wayne said, "Well, Brewster, Fluff died 2 weeks before Marge." And the last one, and I close. Tate's Creek Christian Church invited Wayne to a grief support group with 60 plus people there. He said, "Brewster, I'm going to sit down and do my plain hurt. Talk about Marge." And he said he sat down and said, "Hello, my name is Wayne Smith, and I lost my wife of 63 plus years." Talked a little bit about Marge, talked about her death. And he said, "Brewster, they were very kind, but they just sat there." And he said, "Prior to that, I had to put my dog down 2 weeks before my wife died." And he said, "Brewster, the whole group went, oh." He said, "Brewster, they gave me more grief about my dog, Fluff, than my wife, Marge." He said, "I just couldn't believe it." Well, as I close, Wayne was a watch hoarder. And you know what? I can't even watch the TV show. I really can't watch it. Because if someone wants to hoard something, it's their house, let them. But he loved watches, and I think he got that hoarding from Jack Ballard. But Jack Ballard would buy watches so he could wear them, a watch every week. Wayne Smith would buy watches so he could give them away. New York City trip number 1, he spent $900 on fake Rolex watches and blah, 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 all these names. But they looked good, and he loved them. After he did Chinatown, he'd go, "Fellas, give me your bags. I'm going back to the hotel room to watch Channel 17, black and white TV." Next trip, $650 worth of watches. The next trip, $800 worth of watches. When we got back, he said, "Brewster, I need more watches." I said, "Well, I know them because Todd and I would go to New York City so much, and they would call me Brewster Kentucky Fried Chicken." And I called him. I said, "Hey, can we order $895 worth of watches?" And they were all for him. And this man from Chinatown said, today is Tuesday, Friday, have your $895 cash on delivery, COD. You all, the next day, $895 worth of Rolex watches came in the mail to Wayne Smith. I wasn't there. Wayne was there with Ann Nelson and Joyce. Wayne had $34. Joyce had $25. Ann had $10. Then they had to go to the safe to get the other $750. By the way, they paid it back. I want y'all to know that. But why did he buy those watches for y'all? I said, "Wayne, they got a 20/20 guarantee." "What do you mean? 20 seconds or 20 feet?" And so it's February, so you better give your Christmas presents away now, because it may not be working later on. And so, by the way, you all, afterward, if you want to meet me down by the casket, I'll sell you one of Wayne's watches. And so we shall dry our tears. We'll gather by the fire and we'll carry on. And he said this every funeral. Faith grows a Christian. Life proves a Christian. Toil confirms a Christian. And death crowns a Christian. This is Wayne's coronation day. My best friend.